And let us leave from Mayo in the southern zones, Mayo County, in the southern Cameroons. Let's travel very fast to La République du Cameroon, where our people, among others, have been facing serious hell in the locality of Mayo. Mayo is in the south region of La République du Cameroon. I know you have seen some of these videos already on social media, but it is important to lay it bare here. This is a prophecy that is being confirmed. I've told you 2025 in La République du Cameroon is going to be hell. You hear people who stand and tell you about one and indivisible. In their region, it's Pobia. The Famendongos and others screaming one and indivisible. But in their region, nobody is allowed to be there. Other people from other areas should never feel at home in their region because their region belongs first and foremost to them. Yet they appoint their children. Their children are the SDOs in other people's villages, are the DOs in other people's villages, are the divisional delegates in other people's villages, are the subdivisional delegates in other people's villages, are the tax collectors in other people's villages, are the treasury inspectors in other people's villages, are the customs officials in other people's villages. Yes, but you shouldn't come to their village. It's the same thing with the recruitment at the University of Ebolova. They made sure nobody who is not of Bulu-Ekang-Beti descent or origin was hired in that university. But at the same time, go to the University of Bamenda and find out those who are holding the biggest positions, the most sensitive positions at the University of Bamenda. There will be Bulu-Ekang-Beti. Go to the University of Boya. It's the same thing. You have Victor Julius Ngo, prominent in there, but he's Bulu-Ekang-Beti. I mean, Victor Julius Ngo. Those are the people. You go to all other universities, all over. Go to Ngaundere, go to Marwa, go to everywhere. The Bulu-Beti-Ekang people are the ones lording it over other people there. But the other people are not allowed in their region. This is what it is. That is what they call one and indivisible. That's what they call national unity. And that is the antic that some people in Ambazonia are falling for. That is the rubbish that some people, because they want to be called honorable, they want to be called senator, they want to be called minister without portfolio even, they want to be called director general, they want to be called whatever. That's what they are deceiving you and I to fall to. My people of Ambazonia. As if that were not just enough doing those things, excluding those people. Now they descend even on the people and they are now killing them. As I'm talking to you today, more than 6 people have already been killed in Mayo, in the south, because they are not Bulu-Ekang-Beti in that locality. Because they claim that somebody attacked one of theirs and they believe that that person must be a stranger. Stranger, eh? They say stranger. Stranger in your own country. They call it stranger. Yet they tell you and I. And now they tell you and I. The other day I talked here about one of our sisters. And I said the image was so gruesome. A lot of people have asked and I've sent to them. That the video was so gruesome. Where they stripped her naked. And they were insulting her element Bamenda. And they beat the hell out of her. They were kicking her in her private parts. I dare not use the words that I used on the other day when I was describing it. It was horrible. Like to say, what are you people doing here? Go back to your country. I followed Jipo Remingono, who is an activist of La République du Cameroon, who was saying, when you are asking the people of the southern Cameroons, les Ambazoniens ou les anglophones, that they should rentrer chez eux, they should go back to their land. Which land are you sending them back to? Because your sons and daughters, the Bulu-Ekang-Beti militia, have burned down a lot of their villages, have taken over control, are making life impossible in their streets, and they are running for safety. And you're asking them to go back while you're talking about one and indivisible. Go back to where? I'm not the one saying it. It's Jipo Remingono himself from the Bulu-Ekang-Beti ethnic group. This is something that should ring a bell in our heads. They themselves are recognizing it. This is something that should sound an alarm in our minds. For those who are still dreaming, I don't know on what grounds they are having those dreams, that something good can ever still come out of La République du Cameroon to the southern Cameroons. Listen, folks, we are a people recognized as such under international law. We should never have settled for less in the first place. We made that mistake, but we must cancel it. Because you see, I always show you this. This is when the United Nations in 2010 reminded La République du Cameroon that you are two peoples, that there are two countries here. Two that came together. Two. That's why they brought to him those two maps. You see, the other map being held there, the smaller map being carried there. That is the map of the southern Cameroons, with clear international boundaries, recognized, being handed to Paul Biya by a delegation from the United Nations representing the Secretary General of the United Nations on the event of La République du Cameroon celebrating 50 years of its independence. That is when the United Nations chose to remind La République du Cameroon that we know there are two entities. How else do we want the international community to tell us that they know that we are not one and indivisible, we are two and clearly divisible? That it is us to decide whether we want to stay with them or not. As long as we tell the international community that we are happy being slaves under La République du Cameroon, they will not come to force La République du Cameroon that stop the annexation of southern Cameroons. We have to force La République du Cameroon to vomit off and hook on the throat of La République du Cameroon right to the point where they can't breathe anymore, where they themselves will tell the United Nations, please come and help me. That this animal has swallowed cannot go down my throat. They have hooked somewhere and I can't breathe anymore. And how do we do it? How do we do that? That is through continuous resistance. Continuous resistance. We should copy a leaf from our people on ground zero who have refused to fall to the antics of La République du Cameroon to stop the resistance. You see that just the other day, a certain Achobang Paul, who calls himself city mayor in Bamenda, went out and said, oh, I've come with material for us to, clean the city, to do this and that. I said, please do everything to make sure people should start opening their shops on Monday. Cars, interurban transport vehicles should start transporting people out of Bamenda and into Bamenda from Boya, from Douala, from wherever on Mondays. They should start doing this and that. Why do they keep going forward and backward on this? Because our people on ground zero have demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt that they will never give up until we achieve the freedom we seek. Why should us in the diaspora think that we should give up? Our people on ground zero are living with these self-defense volunteers. They are facing some of the challenges that they are getting. What we need to do is not to turn against the struggle, not to turn against those fighting to free the land who made mistakes. It is to do what? To educate them, just like we are doing. It is to, if you can't do it, provide us the financing, sponsor us, go to PayPal, Zelle, Amber Relief 2018 and gmail.com. Support our efforts to send foot soldiers into the communities to resolve these issues between the local people and between the civilian population and the self-defense volunteers, so that they will have bridges and we will protect civilian lives while they continue to do their onslaught against the invading forces from La République du Cameroon. It's achievable. The only way to resolve it is not to turn against what we believe in, which is our freedom. Because this fight is existential. I bet you it will be worse if we ever let failure to be our portion. God forbid. Let me tell you, when I was in high school, there was a movie that we were so attracted in watching. The title of that movie, if you didn't see the kicker well, it just read The Only Way. But if you looked well, you see the kicker, which read first, Hard Way, 3 dots, then right down the road, The Only Way. Hard way, the only way. What we are involved in, the direction we have taken, is the hard way. Unfortunately, it is the only way to get La République du Cameroon out of our territory. So the only thing that we have to do is keep fighting on. We will have challenges. We will face difficulties. We will have recalcitrant self-defense volunteers who will want to use what they have in their hands, the sticks and all, to turn against the people. We will do everything to discipline them. We will do everything to send people who can call them to order. We will do everything to resolve these differences and make sure that we keep charging on, because we're engaged in something which is the hard way, but it is the only way to freedom. This we must bear in our minds. So, if you are wondering, watch this video.
Fermez la boutique.
As you see in that video, this is in Mayo. This area, Mayo, is in the south region of La République du Cameroon. And the people you see there are the Bulu-Ekang-Beti people of Mayo, who are out there in their numbers. You can see them looting all the shops, scattering the things of people who are not of Bulu-Ekang-Beti origin. That's what they are doing. Breaking stores, looting, attacking people. They even killed some people. The images are so gruesome that I can't show them because, you know, there's so much blood and everything. You find people, people killed with machetes and all of those things there in Mayo. It's a horrible sight to behold. And look, while you keep watching, I should let you continue watching that. Listen to this gentleman explaining it.
Bonjour, bonjour, la famille Banja. Bonjour, j'espère que vous êtes bien réveillés depuis ce matin. Vraiment, de mon côté, rien ne va de ce côté. Je suis du côté de Mayo-Sang pour ces derniers temps. Depuis lundi matin, sans vous mentir, nous vivons vraiment dans la peur de ce côté. Et je suis rentré du voyage.
So you hear what he's saying? He says, bonjour, bonjour, la famille Banja. He's talking to people of Banja from in the west region, because he's from the west. I tell people that I hope you are going on well, but he says, but here, where I'm in Mayo-Sang, things are not going. Since Monday, things are not going. Life is unbearable. We are living in fear because, of these atrocities that you are seeing here. Let him finish.
Lundi soir, et c'est de là que j'apprends qu'un de mes collègues, un frère Bouddha, il a été découpé avec la machette. On l'a trouvé mort au carrefour Mayo-Sang.
Can you hear that? That one of their brothers from Buddha, that they did what? They cut him into pieces with a machete. Oh yes, that they killed him with a machete and they just saw his remains around somewhere in Mayo-Sang. And then, you know, they were wondering exactly what happened. He's continuing.
Et alors, bon, comme les enquêtes, on poursuivait les enquêtes, nous on se disait que non, peut-être c'est un règlement de compte. Mais ce matin, très tôt le matin, quand nous on se réveille pour aller au travail, on nous alerte, on nous signale qu'il voilà encore il y a un autre cas qu'on a retrouvé découpé, toujours comme les mêmes choses comme celui de samedi là.
Can you hear that? So he says when they went out, that they thought, when they saw the remains of that their brother from Buddha, they thought that it could be a matter of there could be a rancor, there could be somebody settling scores, and so the investigations were still going on. But he said in the morning of this day that he's speaking, when they went out to getting ready to go to work, they received word that the situation was getting worse. That they had discovered another corpse of yet another person from the south region, also, killed, that also butchered to death. And now it dawned on them that it is not just a settling of scores, it's something bigger than that. Let us hear him again.
Comme c'était un natif, voilà, depuis ce matin, sans vous mentir, si vous partez peut-être à l'hôpital, peut-être régional et référence, même peut-être vous allez trouver même les premiers cas.
Oh, point of correction there. He says that on the second day, the second corpse that was found, I mean, was not that of someone from the south, from the west region, as I initially said, as somebody who was a native this time, which means that definitely when the Buddha guy was, butchered, some people definitely came out to and caught, maybe they caught one of the people whom they knew was involved, and he was a native of Mayo and butchered him too, and that is how the people of Mayo now went on the rampage. That's what he says.
Qu'on a amené là-bas parce que les villageois aussi, ils se sont réveillés ce matin, dès qu'ils ont appris la nouvelle, les machettes, les boudins et autres là, ils ont commencé seulement le massacre seulement. Donc vraiment, heureusement que quand les dégâts ont commencé, nous aussi, on était déjà à la scierie.
So he says the villagers came out for the massacre with machetes, with all kinds of weapons they can lay hands on, and it's a massacre going on in Mayo at this point. You don't hear it on CRTV. You have not seen it on any newspaper in La République du Cameroon. It's happening in the south region. It will not be reported. Why? Because of the same bribery, corruption, divide and rule methods. All news organs, even those from the west, who are brothers of those people being butchered, even those from the noon, because you hear about somebody from the noon, of course, in the west being butchered, you will hear that it also involves southern Cameroonians. Southern Cameroonians. From either the northern or southern zone being butchered, they will bribe them not to write about it, to ignore it, to behave as if nothing is happening in that area. Listen.
On nous a enfermés parce qu'ils ont même voulu attaquer aussi même à la Syrie et ils menacent que tous les étrangers, tout ce qu'on trouve en route et que tu es un étranger, directement, soit on finit seulement avec toi. Donc,
so did you hear that? So he says he is safe and alive and talking because they went to their carpentry workshop. That's, he says, sawmill. So while they were at the sawmill, they learned that the people were coming, and anyone they met on the street, and they found out that you were not Bulu-Ekang-Beti, they finished with you once and for all. So what they did was that they shut down the doors of the sawmill and stayed inside so the people could pass and not know that there were people inside there. That is how he is alive to tell the story that we are hearing.
Presque tous les boutiques des étrangers qui se trouvent du côté de Mayo Centre, à l'heure où je vous parle, tout ça est en feu. Sans compter ceux qui vivent avec leur famille de ce côté.
So you hear, all the businesses owned by people in Mayo Centre who are not Bulu-Ekang-Beti are in flames, as you can see in this other video. You see the people looting, scattering. You have even seen some soldiers. I saw some soldiers and police there. Those are gendarmes, as you can see, they're passing there, seeming, overwhelmed. No shot in the air. Nothing. They have not come there with water cannons to pour water on the people to bring them to order. They have not come there with guns to shoot in the air or even rubber bullets to scare the people to stop them. They are rather guiding them to do what? To attack those they consider strangers. Those they say are strangers. That's why you heard him say les étrangers. Strangers. That is what they are doing here, as you can see. Yeah. They are canalized. If this kind of thing were happening anywhere in the southern Cameroons, I say they will be on a shooting spree like you have never heard. But here you are not going to hear about a single arrest. Not a single individual will be arrested. Here again.
Okay. Tous ces gens-là, donc vraiment, nous prions seulement Dieu que les choses se calment et que peut-être qu'on nous libère seulement, qu'on rentre, retrouver même nos familles seulement.
So you see, he says that even the people who are in Mayo, some with their family members, they are in dire situation. And where they are, they're only praying that some little calm should return so they should pack their things and run back to their villages and run back to their regions of origin. That is the national unity that Paul Biya is promising you, the people of Ambazonia. That is the one and indivisible that Paul Biya is promising you, the people of the southern Cameroons. And some of us are falling for it. My dear people of Ambazonia, this is not a laughing matter. I'm telling you all, the fight we find ourselves in is existential. But I told you about how the Republic of Cameroon will implode. This 2025, what you are seeing here is sport. It's happening in Mayo. That's in the deep south. By the time it starts happening in the east, by the time it starts happening in the center, in Yaoundé, in Bafia, in Obala, in all of those places, that is when those of you that have been screaming every time you are Ambazonian, you are Southern Cameroonian, run back home. That is when you realize that Bakuro was not a mad dog, as they were telling you. That's when you realize that Bakuro has not been getting too alarmist and just wanting to, get you scared. No, this thing is real. You heard the gentleman, they are not looking only for the people of the West region. They are looking for anybody who is not Bulu-Ekang-Beti in Mayo. Those are the people they are chasing. You will hear that more in the other video when I play it. Let's finish with him.
À ça, l'heure où je vous parle vraiment, l'heure est vraiment très grave. Ça ne va pas. Ça ne va pas vraiment. Donc vraiment, voilà l'information que je tenais.
Okay, so this is it. And now, I'll let you watch this other one with the full audio. I won't say a thing. Just watch and you will hear for yourself what you get inside there.
Ezambora uyava abima enya ne vivenyi Ezambora ufo ayava abaka bodze Itabi ku amoyo ni wala da o
Yeah, you see them, you hear them breaking into shots, catching everything. You look at them, just moving around, you ask yourself, where are soldiers of the Republic of Cameroon? Where are the so-called forces of law and order? Nothing. These people are the most protected people. These people are pure blood. They are allowed to do anything they want. And they are doing it on camera. Their faces are there. Nobody will go look for them. If this thing happened in the southern Cameroons, by now you would have seen pictures of how they've encircled people's faces, how they are sitting down studying them to go for them. I say not a single arrest has been conducted in Mayo. So if you are still doubting, that this liberation movement is an existential fight for you and me, then you need to hurry to the hospital. Something must be wrong with your brain. Something must be wrong with you. If you are still doubting that the only thing you need to bother about now is how to become relevant, is how to push, is how to contribute to make this liberation movement a success, then something is wrong with you. You have seen for yourself. I'm not the ones. You heard them speaking the Beti Bulu language on the streets. You see them undisturbed. No water cannons. No rubber bullets. No grenades. No. Nothing. Nobody bothering them. The few gendarmes and police who are there are rather guiding them, protecting them to do the looting. This is what it is. They come and tell you to be parroting something called one and indivisible. They come and tell you to be parroting something called national unity. They come and tell you right now to go and start preparing yourself to go and celebrate a lie, a travesty on 20th May called La Fête de Unité, called the Day of National Unity. This is what it is. This is the reality versus the utopism that you are bearing in your mind. My people, it's painful, but we must talk about it.